Welcome to another Magic Gathering Arena video. This is November Lima, and first off, thank you all so much. I kind of feel like Galia here, all excited. As of this morning, my channel, who started a little under a month ago, has surpassed 1,000 views. So thank you so much for the support. Please, if you like my content, don't forget to like those videos and hit that subscribe button. That really helps out a lot. And again, I'm just really excited, and I'm looking forward to the next milestone. So, deck I'm going to be jumping into is actually one that I brewed myself here. It looks very similar to a band ramp of a few sets ago, and I kind of wanted to build something that wasn't Yorion based, but I do like the band colors because it has a lot of answers to the current meta. So I kind of brewed this together. It looks like a lot of fun to me. I took it for a spin earlier and unfortunately made a bit of a misplay against the Yorion deck, but other than that, I think it is pretty potent. So we're going to take it for a spin. Let me talk through the deck here. So really the purpose of this deck is to be a bit of a mid-rangey deck. So it has answers for aggro and for the control decks out. So I got the Aether Gusts. I main deck 2 Aether Gusts because, again, the strongest decks right now run red or green. Of course, there's some decks that have like the black and white and cards like that. If that happens, I unfortunately have a dead card, but I'm willing to take that risk because the biggest threats are in those colors. This does put Luca back on the stack as well. One Dovin's Veto. Again, everybody runs non-creature spells unless you run against a Mori, but that doesn't happen nearly as often, so having a Veto is just really great in a pinch. 4 Growth Spiral, because I am looking to be ramping up into potentially a Hydroid Krasis. Now, Hydroid Krasis I have learned to sometimes play for not very much mana, just to get a little bit of card draw going and something on the board. But Krasis is just such a powerful card. Even if it gets countered, at least I get card draw and life gain, so this thing is just good. 4 Brazen Borrowers, just to be able to kind of mess with my opponent's board, but also create some tempo. 4 seems like a lot, but I really want to have tempo in this deck. Being a mid-range deck, mid-range is just not a archetype that is very successful in the current meta. So I want to make sure that I can add plenty of tempo if I need to. 2 Deputies of Detention. This card is just really cool. Of course, it has its flaws. It is definitely not a solid removal piece, but really how you use Deputy Detention is to buy time. That's all this does. It is a blue spell more than a white. Look at it as a bounce spell, but different. So if I play this, I take something off the board. Potentially, if it's tokens, it's even better. So that's mainly why I put it in, is to deal with the Luca tokens. But otherwise, it makes your opponent have to interact with Deputy before they get to use their card again. So from that standpoint, it's pretty solid. 3 Euros, again, for more ramp and being able to bring it back for 6/6. 3 Mystical Dispute because of the amount of blue that's out and about. Got 3 Teferi Time Revelers. I was thinking between 3 or 4, but really the only purpose I want Teferi for is to avoid some potential interaction on my opponent's turn. I don't necessarily need 4 copies for that because I will not be casting any sorceries on their turn. So I felt that 3 was sufficient. These are my main threats. I went with 2 and 2. I think 4 of each just doesn't fit the deck. 2 Nightpack Ambushers. That way, if I need to, I can cast this on my opponent's turn to cause a threat, or I can pressure earlier with the Questing Beast. Both of these are just incredibly powerful in their own way. 1 Trostani Discordant. I have always loved this card. I think this card is so cool. It bumps all your creatures. It creates 2 lifelinkers that, because of Trostani, are 2/2s until Trostani is off the board. But the cool thing here, at the beginning of your end step, each player gains control of all creatures they own. Now, I understand that all the Agent of Treachery decks are targeting lands instead. However, not very many people play this card anymore, so my idea behind playing this card is that I don't necessarily play it until I have to, which is if I already have threats on the board, like Nightpack or Questing Beast, if Agent of Treachery comes on the board, they're going to want to target those 2 cards because they are threats. They need to take care of those first before they start targeting lands, otherwise I'm going to keep doing damage to them. Especially Questing Beast, because Agent of Treachery cannot jump block Questing Beast because of the 2 power. So they're going to want to steal these guys first. Then I can follow up with Trostani Discordant and get it back. So that's kind of where that card comes in. If I'm not playing against a Luca deck or an Agent deck, this card is still great because, again, it gives all my stuff +1/+1 and put lifelinkers on the board. This thing is typically detrimental against aggro. 3 Nissas. You don't see her around very much anymore. She's incredibly powerful. If you get to resolve her and start smacking with lands, it's just a great card. So this was an auto included in this deck, in my opinion. I got my land package here. I run 27 lands. A deck like this, you might run more lands, but I felt that 27 was enough. I've got a lot of ramp happening, but in reality, my largest spell is 5 mana. So yes, I have Hydroid Krasis, which I can really sink mana into. But other than that, I don't have a lot of big spells. So I think 27 mana is enough. Now, why do I want 27, not 26 or 25? I do want to have enough spells or lands so I have mana open for spells on my opponent's turn. I want to be able to interact. So a couple basics, passage. I got all of the shocks. And then I have 4 temples in blue-green simply because that's the colors I play the most in this deck. And I got 2 castles, very situational. So let's switch to the sideboard. 3 Glass Caskets to deal with some aggro. 1 Tail's End if I need to turn off some triggers or legendary spells. This will probably be sideboarded in quite a bit in the current meta. More Dovin's Vetoes. Knights of Autumns to destroy Elspeths, Fires, Wilderness. 2 Elspeth Conquers Death in case I need to take out one of their bigger threats and bring some of my stuff back from the graveyard. 2 Tolsimir, just great against aggro matchups. And then I have 3 Shark Typhoons. Shark Typhoons are not cards you necessarily find in a mid-range deck, more in the control decks. However, I bring this in against control decks or counter decks, like flash decks, because I can resolve this either way. So if my opponent has a really good strategy of getting Teferi down and I can't interact, being able to get a cycling shark is really going to help me out. So that's the theory behind it. Let's just take it for a spin. Let's go into a best of 3 match here with it. And let's see if this goes my way. Again, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and let me know if there's anything specific you want me to brew with or work around, or if you prefer to see historic content. To me, it's all fun in its own way, so if you have a preference, please let me know. All right. Going against Yorion, and I get to play first, so I want to be aggressive. However, Teferi, Uro, and the Hydroid's really not bad either. So am I going to keep this in? I would have loved to see a counter here. Because right now my opponent's going to be able to do whatever he wants. So I feel like I have to mulligan. But I really don't want to. Because again, this is a solid start. I think I'm going to keep and see what happens. One card I just thought about that would probably be good in the sideboard, that I might bring in if I keep tinkering on this deck, is Shifting Ceratops, if I need to pressure these kinds of decks as well. Because again, Shifting Ceratops is one of those cards that's really good against the round decks. Okay, we got Esper and some hand hate, so probably Teferi's going to go. Or he's going to exile Uro.
Only time will tell.
I guess only time will tell. Alright, so we got another land here, so we're just going to drop Uro. Might as well get you out. Okay. We're pretty far off from bringing this back out, so I kind of expect it to be exiled before then. Esper Hero. That's pretty cool. Now, do I exile that right away? Or do I play Krasis? I think I exile it. And then, because next turn he's going to do like Elite Guard Mage or Atris or something like that. I'd rather exile it now so he doesn't get the token right away, and then I can drop one more land to make a 4/4 Krasis next turn. Let's go ahead and play Deputy. Okay. And pass turn. So I expect this to die now, but again, it buys me time. Okay, yep. That was to be expected. Now I could be really annoying and play another one, but I think I'm going to hold off this time. Let's go ahead and do you. This will allow me some card draw too, so that's kind of nice. There we go. Wait, those are actually not bad draws at all. Yeah, so this one is a little dead in this matchup, but that's okay. Again, we knew that risk when boarding it in, but again, I do think that the biggest threats in the current meta are in those colors, especially the red with Luca and Winota. Being able to cheat in those agents. Last time I faced Esper Hero at 5 mana, I expected Teferi Hero of Dominaria, but that's no longer in standard. You don't really see Esper Hero very much anymore. I'm curious if this Esper Hero or like an Esper Humans deck. Okay, Kaya is actually very strong against us.
Ooh, I like a good fight. I hope you said I won't.
Yep.
I had guild business to attend to anyway.
So we're going to kill Kaya here. That's fine. Then I do think I'm going to take Hero here again. That's fine. No idea why it asked me for confirming my mana. And there we go. Okay. Here's what we're going to see here. Well, there's no point in disputing that, so I'm just going to go and let it ride. She can just fade. Okay. That's fine. Now, if it would have targeted my Krasis, I probably would have Aether Gusted my Krasis. That's pretty sweet. So I can play this, and I have mana open for the dispute. Unless he vetoes. I think I've got to do this first, just in case. Let's go ahead and do this, because then if he disputes, I can pay. Yeah, veto is the only thing I can't do anything with, so that's unfortunate. Now what I can do is Aether Gust my Nissa. So that's what I'm doing. Yep. Put it back up there. Okay. And I'm going to hold back. Now, if I block anything, it's going to be the Oath of Kaya. It's going to be the Hero of Precinct 1, because if I block a 1-1, he's just going to Yorion into Oath of Kaya. And that's just a really bad trade for me, so I'm just going to go and let that go. Okay, so there's Nissa again. Let's see if he has a counter. Nope. So that's pretty good.
Strange and magnificent world.
Let's go ahead and do you. Then I have mana open for the Scry next turn. That's unfortunate.
I must go. Rise, my elemental friend.
Now I'm going to go in and swing. Send for him to trade. He's going to have to sacrifice both of these guys. Okay. Now he's going to Yorion to Oath of Kaya on my land, probably. Really would love to draw another Hydroid Krasis for some card draw. Okay. And my poor little Forester is going to die. That's pretty cool. If you look at this art here. Here? I didn't know that. Alright, and that's land. Okay. So I think I'm just going to play it out. At this point, there's no point in bluffing. He has one card, I have none. He's going to play it out, and that way I can scry his upkeep. Let's just hope he doesn't draw anything fantastic here. Pass Shock would be a bummer. Then he could just bounce it to my hand and discard, and then I'm in really bad shape. Which I'm not in great shape right now anyway, but I don't want to go from not great shape to really bad shape. Afraid I'm just going to have to take that. Good jump, but that just doesn't seem worth it. Okay. Scry. get something good up top. 2 lands. That's not it. Alright. That's not it either. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. At this point, there's no point because next turn I'm just going to chump block. I'm going to take 5 damage down to 6 with no cards in hand. So let's go ahead on what we can do here. So Trostani, I don't think he's going to bring an agent, really. So let's see. Aether Gust is the deck card. Veto is good. Still think that's good. He's got a lot of graveyard hate, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Disputes and Teferis are good. I think those are still good. I don't think he's going to bring in an agent, so I'm going to ditch that. He does have a lot of hate for Nissa, but it's too good of a card to pass up. This can take care of their hero. I think I want the vetoes. Tolsimir would be pretty good too. The Knights. Do I take the Sharks? There's probably a case to be made for the Sharks. Sharks instead of Nissa, maybe. I mean, Nissa does add to my mana, but does run D-Sparks. I imagine he's going to run Elspeths. Let's get this in there, because he does have some legendary spells. I think I'm going to try it. I think I'm going to go with the Sharks instead of Nissa. And I did get a little flooded there, but I'm not going to cut a land yet. What do I cut? One cut to make, and what needs to go? Do I need 2 Knights of Autumn? Don't really run that many artifacts and enchantments. I think 1 is enough. Let's go with that. It'd be nice to destroy an Oath of Gaia or an Elspeth if they play it, which I kind of imagine they would. If it's an Esper build with Yorion, I'd be shocked if they don't run Elspeth. I mean, yes, they're going to want to have dual colors for most of their stuff. That's a good hand. They want to have dual colors for most of their stuff, so it triggers the hero, but I would not imagine that they are that devoted to it. Do I keep another Shark? I think that is not necessary. I am going to shock this in, just in case. I don't think I'm going to veto the... I don't know if I'm going to veto the Thought Erasure. Okay. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and play this. Now I can play aggressively and put this out as a 4-3. Do I play that as a 4-3, or do I hold off? I think playing too aggressively here is going to cost me. So I'm going to hold off. Could deny him that, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and let it go. So yeah, I know that bringing a mid-range brew to ranked is bound to be tricky. There's just too much value out right now, but I think this deck definitely has potential. It probably would be stronger in a Yorion shell, being able to like bounce a knight. But I really wanted to try to build something without Yorion. I mean, who knows? Maybe Yorion's going to get banned soon anyway, so... I don't have to write land up for that, so let's go ahead and pass the turn. Let's go ahead and shock you in 2. Then next turn I can potentially put a 2-2 Shark out. Now if I'd have a Nightpack Ambusher, I'd feel really good about myself, but can't have them all. So yeah, this turn, if he doesn't do anything to where I'm going to have to veto it, then I will play a 2-2 Shark. There we go. Get the Shark out. Okay. Wouldn't be shocked to see removal here, but that's okay. Sweet. I got a bunch of Brazen Borrowers, so that's always nice. So I can keep the pressure up, essentially, depending on what my opponent does. Go ahead and... do I keep shocking this in? If I shock this in, I have Veto and Borrower open, but I don't think I'm in that much of a rush. So I'm going to hold off. Going to crack the Omen, maybe? No. Seemed like it for a second. Alright, well, we have Borrowers for days. Curious if they sideboarded out all the heroes. That's kind of what it looks like. But then again, it's also an 80-card deck, so sometimes you're not going to draw what you think you need. Alright, let's play another Brazen. Start really pressuring. Alright, swing. Really going to have to start coming with an answer here. Not what I'm looking for. Don't know exactly what I'm looking for at this point because I'm looking pretty good. Probably like a Questing Beast or some additional pressure. At this point, I just want to pressure him. Now, if he plays Yorion, that'd be great because then I can just bounce it. I can bounce it and play the Brazen Borrower. I feel like that's almost what he wants to do here. Unmoored Ego. Do I care what he would unmoored Ego? What would he choose here that would be bad for me? Mystical Dispute? Veto? Do I let this happen? I think I let this happen. I think I'm going to go ahead and... What else could he have for 3 mana? Sorry, buddy, I'm thinking for a second. What else could he have for 3 mana that I'm worried about? I think I'm going to let this happen. I'm curious what he picks here. I've got too many threats happening right now that I'm worried about that. If he picks Nissa, I'm going to laugh out loud. Really curious what he's going to pick here. So he has to pick before he sees my deck. Now again, we played game 1 against each other, but my deck is different. I don't have Uro. I don't have Nissa. Nice. Oh my goodness. Poor guy. I am so glad I did not counter that. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, I get it. I mean, I probably feel the same way in his position, but... Wow. That must hurt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you stay unpredictable. That is the upside of not playing a meta deck. Alright, so we got the Teferi. We're definitely going to veto that. And we're going to go ahead and play another Borrower. And we're going to smack him. Boop, boop, boop. And we got lethal next turn. Potentially. Nothing crazy happens. Now another Teferi would be a bummer. Okay. So, resolve. Bolas's Citadel. You know what? That's totally cool because what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it drop. I'm going to instantly bounce it. Boop, boop, and bye. And that's it. Yep, very good. Okay, so now he knows I don't run Nissa and he's going to unmoored Ego, that's something else. What do I change? Honestly, I think that was a pretty good sideboard plan. Do I stick with it? Stills and... Still seems good. Veto seems good. Mystical Dispute. I think it still seems good. Now what I could do, because he took creatures out, is take Tolsimir and put 2 Nissas in. I like it. So at this point, my sideboard plan is to just confuse my opponent. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that works. The nice thing about playing an not an anti-meta, but an off-meta deck that you brewed is that your opponent typically can't really determine what you're going to do next. So kind of with his deck as well, he's pretty well off meta. I've seen lists, but I'm not super familiar with it. So I don't know exactly what his plan is, what he's doing, and how he's sideboarding against me. With some of the other decks, absolutely. I know exactly what the decks are doing, how they sideboard, what their plan is, and how they're going to interact with me. He doesn't have that with me. Like, by example, he brought in Unmoored Ego for my Nissa. I didn't run Nissa anymore. So now this time around, I noticed he didn't have his Heroes of Precinct 1. Maybe he just didn't draw them. Then again, they're also not the biggest threats to me, because I have other things to interact with it. So maybe it is good to bring Nissa back in. It's actually a really good hand. I'm going to be able to deny the Teferi if he has it early. Now, if he has hand hay, that's going to be a bummer, but you cannot have them all. I'm going to go ahead and start with this, so that way I can play this next turn and get the Veto. Sweet. That's really good for us. Hand hate there would have been kind of a bummer. Go ahead and pass the turn. Okay. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and shock this one in. And pass there. That way I have counters open, I have Brazen Borrower open. I should be in good shape here. So probably what I'll just do is to start pressuring him if he doesn't play anything here. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he boarded in more removal after that game. But I'm going to have to give it a shot. If I lose a Borrower, it's not the end of the world. So we're just going to go in and start pressuring. No removal, so that's good for us. I'm going to play this first because I don't necessarily need green mana right now. I would like to see another green soon so I can play Nissa out. I'll bring a 2/2 Shark out at the end of his step if he doesn't do anything here. With the Gaia. I think I'm going to dispute that now. Because I have Veto to do other things with. I'd rather do that now than when he has more mana to pay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay. There's another green. Sweet. Might as well shock it in. There we go. That way I can get a 3/3 Shark out next turn. Unless he plays another Oath, which I will counter. At this point, I don't want him taking life. I'm basically taking an aggro approach here. Because since when is Bant aggro not a thing, right? Or I guess it would be Bant tempo. Then it's a bit of a tempo approach. Let's go that route. I always struggle to differentiate aggro and tempo. If I understand it correctly, and feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect. If I'm understanding tempo and aggro, the difference. Tempo is trying to keep let's do that. Tempo is to try and avoid your opponent from being able to interact with your stuff, allowing you to smack him, basically, until they're dead. It's not necessarily about hitting them hard and fast, it's about being able to be evasive. Whereas, yeah, I really don't care about that right now. Aggro is really just getting a bunch of creatures out, big creatures, small creatures, doesn't matter, and just try to smash through your. So tempo, you'll often see blue involved because they do have a lot of bounce effects and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and just jam Nissa here. Am I, though? Let's see. And then aggro is often you'll see red, green, those kind of colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I do that, I will not have mana open for Veto, will I? If I do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because then if he blocks, I think I just need to swing right now and keep Veto open. I don't want him gaining life right now. So let's see what we have next. I don't necessarily want a tempo into a temple. And let's call it good. Right now I'm in a pretty good spot. Kind of curious what my opponent's going to try to do here. 6 mana. I think a Teferi would be bad for us, because then we counter it and he has the potential of playing another 3 mana spell like Oath. But I have to counter the Teferi no matter what. So I can't have him bounce my Shark or be able to shut up my counters. Elspeth. Now he could have a counter for my counter. No, he cannot, because this counter cannot be countered. Haha. Okay, I'm actually in really good shape then. So that might be game, depending on what he has for 2 mana. Could have a Heartless Strike. Otherwise, this is game. Let's see, what else could he have? Disfigure. I just don't think he would run Disfigure. What are you vetoing? Very confused by that. Guess he just won another counter out, which doesn't matter because I got lethal. And that is game. Hey, Midrange did it. So yeah, I made it to Diamond finally, which is also pretty sweet. I actually got all the way up to Diamond 3, and then the game decided to just give me either nothing but mana or nothing but spells for quite some time. All right, so let's go back to the deck. I think there's definitely more tinkering I can do here. Like I said, shifting Ceratops into Sideboard would be nice. But I think this deck has potential. I think it really can hang with the top decks with a little bit more tinkering, simply because it has a little bit more of a tempo feel to it. That's also why I didn't want Yorion in this build. Either that and I tried to be a cool kid and brew my own here. So yeah, if you liked it, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. And looking forward to the next video. Tomorrow is the start of the Best of 1 tournament, first ever cash one. So I'm still debating whether or not I want to participate. Best of 1 is not necessarily my thing, but if I do, I'll make sure to record my matches. So, all right, stay tuned, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.